All right, good morning. Here we are at 9:30, right on the button on a beautiful Monday. It's turned out to be a beautimous day, except for the fact that it's 31 degrees. But other than that, we're good. And our next guests in the studio of the stars, we've got Matthew here. Good morning, sir. Let me make this happen. There we are.
Good morning.
How are you?
Man, I'm good. But it was cold. It was a pretty morning.
It's been a pretty morning, but you were 2 or 3 hours ago in Asheville.
It was, and it was very pretty. Like the western side of the mountain,
All right,
had snow. The minute you hit the downslope, nothing. Right, so the eastern side of the mountain, nothing on it. So it was really pretty. Makes me a little sad not to be hiking today, because I like hiking in a really light snow is quite pretty. It's very, like, the sound is a little different. And
boy, there's just no end to finding out about you. More and more. Downtown city boy, but a country man, and, Jeremiah Johnson. If you just keep growing that thing,
I will do that.
A wilderness person. Who'd you bring with you today?
This is the Reverend Dr. Steve Hill, mostly just Dr. Steve Hill. He is the man behind the Statesville Historical Collection, and we got something special coming up about him. There are two things, actually. You've got your own thing, and we've got a thing coming up. So we want to talk about three things today.
Okay.
Because he's a feature of down. He's like one of the keystone.
You're a feature.
No, he's a keystone to downtown. He has the Statesville Historical Collection. Like when I walk, I've been to a number of these things, like around these little collections,
right?
And I know like what the quality typically is, right? Less in other communities. So I'll tell people, like, you need to go in there, and they give you that look because they've also been in a couple of them.
Sure.
So I'm like, no.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Like, this is going to blow your mind. And it's well curated, and the space is beautiful. And so, like, it's such a delight for me to have that gift downtown.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I want to, can we start up? I don't know how you got into this.
Well,
do you know this story?
He probably heard it before. But,
okay.
First of all, you've given the weather report from Asheville and Statesville. Let's give you the weather report in the suburbs of Low-Ray.
Yes.
In downtown Scotts, North Carolina.
That's right.
It was cold this morning, but it was we did not have any snow, so that was good. But yeah, when I look back, there was no master plan for all this stuff. I just started when I was a kid. I love my community. I love my hometown. I can remember lying on my bed when I was about 8 years old, and I was opening up a pack of Topps baseball cards. Now, Matthew, you're not old enough.
Yes.
Ron, y'all aren't old enough.
I had some Topps baseball
cards. Oh, do you really?
Oh, yeah.
Billy is old enough to have the Topps baseball cards.
He had the first series.
But you open up your wax pack of cards, and there's, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 cards in there.
Yeah.
And there's a piece of bubble gum, a flat piece of sugary bubble gum. So I was lying on my bed.
Hard as a rock.
Yes, it was. It had to really work to get it going.
That's right.
But and I was working on my bubble gum, and I was flipping through my cards, and I turned one over, and I read it, and it said hometown, Statesville, North Carolina. And that just blew me away. Here's a guy in the major leagues. Probably this guy even played in Yankee Stadium, which would be, the place in the world.
Absolutely.
From my same place I came from. So I started collecting Herm Starrett cards. That was Herm Starrett.
That's right.
I know you remember Herm Starrett. And
I thought you was going to say Squirrel, but
Squirrel, yeah.
I don't know
Squirrel was a little bit before him. Yeah. And so back then, boys traded baseball cards. It's kind of like a little club. You would get with your buddies, and you would see what they had found that week, and you would trade. So I would trade all my Mickey Mantles and Roger Marises to my friends, and I would get all their Herm Starretts and Barry Moore, born in Statesville, raised in Cleveland. Some of my older friends, they had some Dave Jolly cards back in the late 50s.
Yeah.
So I traded for a few of those. So I have a whole stack. I probably have the world's largest collection of Hermes Direct cards that are now worth probably, if I could find the right buyer, maybe 10 cents a piece.
Exactly.
But go on eBay and see what Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris are bringing out. So that's kind of how my investments have gone too.
You could have built your own collection. That's right. Cards.
So after that, I just, anything, I moved to postcards, and then I would go up to Carson's Coin Shop up downtown Statesville.
Right.
He had a lot of local history stuff to come through there, and he would find an old token or a wooden nickel or something, advertising piece. And I love the old advertising pieces from my hometown. So I would dicker with him and get those. And then I started going to get my dad to take me to yard sales. Then when I got my license, I started going to flea markets and yard sales and expanding beyond Statesville and going out to surrounding flea markets, a lot of Metrolina flea market trips, but always looking for Statesville and Iredell County collectibles. And that's kind of how it got started. As my children grew up, I trained them to be my scouts. We would go on vacation. We would go to antique malls all over the Southeast, and I would send them out on their own searches, and they would come back and report to me what they had found. And then you could use just about any antique mall. You can usually find something if you look hard enough from Statesville, either a baseball card or a tobacco tag or a postcard or something, advertising postcard. So Statesville's well represented in the antique world, in the collectibles world. So kind of grew from that and snowballed and got out of hand at some point. And then,
so where were you storing all this?
Especially that you started at a young age.
I started at a young age.
Yeah.
And I had a little display case in my bedroom when I was a child, and I would bring my friends in and show them my stuff in my bedroom. And then when I got married, I had my living room coffee table was a glass display case full of Statesville collectibles. When I started, and the rest of it would go in the basement and then the attic. And when I was teaching at Statesville High School, they had an empty classroom, and they allowed me to do a little informal display in there, and I did. That's probably, I guess, the first place I really set up a display of any size, and it stayed there for a while. Mitchell College, they had a room off the library. They allowed me to do one time for a couple of years, and I just continued collecting. Then it moved from the basement to many storage buildings. A gentleman up in North Ireland was kind enough to loan me a tractor trailer unit that I quickly filled up and used that as storage. So then when I retired in 2009, I went to the mayor. Do y'all know who the mayor was way back in 2009?
Is that Johnny Marshall?
No.
That was Costi.
Costi.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking.
Costi goes way back.
You're in trouble now.
So I went to Costi, and Costi knew I was a collector, but he didn't really know what I had. But I said, Costi, I think I've got enough stuff for a little local history museum. If I had a place to set it up, I think people would like to see some of this stuff. And Costi said, well, let me see what I can do. And he came back, and Bill Stiles had the old balloon factory over behind Black Pontiac.
On Salisbury Road.
Yeah, on Salisbury Road. Now it's Black GMC Jeep.
Scared me to death when you got back there. Anyway, that's another story. He's got it coming.
So went in there and stayed there for a year, and then DSDC said, we have a building up here, the old Army Navy store on South Center Street, there where the gondola,
the gondolier,
gondolier, and the honey store.
Yeah, Bee and Barrel.
Yeah, the Bee and Barrel. So I was there for a long time, and then the Gordon family. Oh gosh, the Gordon family. They're so generous. They came to me and said, "Why don't you move down here in our old furniture store? You can stay as long as you want." So I stayed there for a long time, and then here comes a gentleman by the name of Stamey Holland.
How about
you don't
that?
know Stamey Holland. Stamey is a great guy. He comes from a long tradition of businessmen in Statesville. His family has owned the site of the Statesville Historical Collection. It's actually the Holland building there. They've owned that property since 1903 when a big hotel stood there. And Stamey, with encouragement from Jimmy Wilson from G.L. Wilson Construction Company, decided to retrofit that building for a little local history exhibit. Some people call it a museum. I don't call it a museum. It's not a museum. It's not, in a museum, everything's in its proper place and fancy.
That's right, lighting and all that.
Stuff. We don't have. We're kind of plain. But Stamey redid that building. It's one of the most beautiful buildings in downtown Statesville. He tore out all the ceiling, the insulation, put pressed tin ceiling up, redid the floors, built all the displays with the help of Steve Bell at G.L. Wilson Construction Company, building company, designing all of that. A lot of help from Tom Wilson himself, G.L. Wilson, Dr. Roger Rourke. A lot of manpower in there with that also. And they turned that into a real showplace. They built me my own elevator, a brand new elevator.
Oh, I didn't know that.
With a television. Billy, next time you're up there, let me take you on my elevator.
Oh, that would be fabulous.
Yeah. And so we moved in. We've been officially open a little over a year. January of last year is when we opened. And we just have a blast in there every day. Matthew stops by and sees us from time to time. Stamey, he's in and out every day. And he's just such a delightful fellow. And he's so generous. He loved, we all love our hometown. We do. And Stamey Holland loves his hometown too. And he shows it every day by keeping the Holland building the gem that it is. And he's a gem of a fellow. And if it weren't for Stamey Holland and Jimmy Wilson and people like this stuff would be boxed up somewhere.
What is scary is when he was over there on Salisbury Road in one of those buildings, there was a fire.
Oh, yes.
And it was like, holy moly. But it wasn't in that building.
It was not. It was pretty close. It was pretty doggone close. It was too close for comfort.
Yeah. And so I could imagine all that history just, gone up. But fortunately, it wasn't part of that building.
Right.
But boy, the smoke was blazing everywhere. So anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
But the Woolworth building, which it was previously, then did you have those stools and all that for that?
Yeah, we had stools. Those are not original to that particular Woolworth, but I was able to find some original Woolworth stools from another store, and we were able to recreate on the exact site. We had back when Woolworth closed, back in the early '80s, I guess.
Yeah.
They built a wall that kind of covered up that lunch counter. The lunch counter had probably 50 seats all the way down along the south wall. And they covered it up because of the sink drains in the floor. They didn't want to have to redo all the floors and all that. So it's just easier to come out about 30 to 36 inches and build a wall and just seal all that. So when we moved in, we knew that the lunch counter was along there. So we cut a hole in the closet there, and you could look all the way down through there. And there was a little passageway, a 36-inch walkway all the way down through there along the lunch counter.
Really?
And all the original tile, the metal work from the signage was still back there. All the sink drains were still back there. So I got permission from Stamey. I said, Stamey, if we were to cut a hole in the wall, could people at least peek back there and see what the lunch counter used to look like? And he said, well, sure. And I told Tom Wilson and showed him what we were thinking about. And Tom said, oh, no. We're not going to have a little hole. We're going to have a big hole. So he comes in there with these saws and saws off, this huge piece of. We talked to some of the Unity High School students, former students who had participated in the sit-in, to find out exactly where along that wall the original sit-in took place, so that we could be accurate. We found that it was just right down, just slightly down a little ways, and Tom Wilson and his crew cut a hole in the wall, and boom, right there was the original tile. I took some 409, wiped off the tile, and that's basically the way it looks now. It's still beautiful.
How about that?
And
I didn't realize
a great piece of our history. Yeah.
So DSDC and who else? DSDC and then the Chamber and CVB. All y'all got together with this plaque.
Yeah.
Oh, so So I'm not going to take credit for the plaque. That's
Okay.
mostly the CVB. So talk about that. So he's got two things coming up,
Okay.
right, that are big. One is this Thursday. Put my radio voice on. No,
Right.
So let me do my piece is short.
Okay.
You already talked about STAMI and the North Carolina Main Street program every year. I'm sorry. I'm usually better than
You're good. I know
You're doing great. You're doing great.
I was sitting back listening.
You're
I
fine. I'm just gonna
enjoyed
angle
it.
it
It was
down.
nice not to have to talk. Every year, the North Carolina Main Street program gives away roughly 24 awards for things like best downtown events, best volunteer programs, things like that. They look at the 80+ Main Street communities and they say like, all right, make proposals. Like propose your project, your building, your event as like one of the things that stands out in North Carolina. Right. And so this past year, the DSTC board said, well, let's put forward the Holland Building and the Statesville Historical Collection and as best adaptive reuse of a building. And they won. And so Steve and Stamy and Mr. Wilson, I think, are going to be coming down to New Bern beginning of March.
Steve Bell will be representing.
Okay.
Steve Bell.
And receiving that award, right, at the North Carolina Main Street Conference. That's that big thing, right? So that's a big deal for us,
Well,
right?
sure
to have
it is.
that kind of quality work in downtown. We've had a couple of these over the years. But you've also got something come up on Thursday that for CVB, like we were not involved that I'm aware of. It may have been something that antedated me, but I think primarily the CVB
support capacity. But it basically came about Cindy Sutton with the Statesville Convention Visitors Bureau. She was at a conference and she heard about the North Carolina Civil Rights Trail. They had a program that was there, and she met some of the people who were involved in the North Carolina Civil Rights Trail. And she found that they were accepting applications for new stops on the trail. So she came to me and wanted to know if we wanted to partner with the Visitor Center to do an application. So Cindy did the application and she submitted it, and doggone it if we didn't get accepted onto the North Carolina Civil Rights Trail. So that group has done a beautiful historic marker, and it's going to be unveiled this Thursday at 11 o'clock. So if you're in downtown Statesville, please stop by and join us outside the Statesville Historical Collection to watch the unveiling of the marker. It's a really cool thing that's going to happen. It helps remember a historic day in our history, March 15th, 1960. If you'll think back to those days, Billy.
Why me?
Because you're the only one in the room other than him that would remember it.
How old are you?
Billy was in high school, I think. This was 6 weeks after the famous Greensboro Woolworth lunch counter sit-in that we all studied in school.
Right.
But Statesville had its own Woolworth lunch counter sit-in. We had 4 African-American student teachers from Unity High School who came in at 4 o'clock one day after school. They sat down at the counter. The waitress came out, slapped down a sign, "Sorry, we're closed for cleaning," which pretty much meant scram, get lost.
Right.
They continued to sit there. The manager came out and talked to them. Eventually, the police department was called. The police officers came over. They talked to them. After about 45 minutes, they were escorted out of the building down Court Street. They were put in jail cells. They were fingerprinted. They were charged with trespassing. And they were issued really heavy fines, bails. And that was kind of the end of it for at least that day. But then the next morning when they went back to Unity High School to class, they found that their jobs had been eliminated. They had pretty much been fired. Their student teaching jobs at Unity High School had been done away with. Their colleges called them back and reassigned them to other schools, I suppose because they were considered to be radical troublemakers. Yeah. No. So they left Statesville, but I think it's important to mention their names. Charles Napoleon Hart, he went on to work at the U.S. Patent Office. Margaret Glenn, she became Margaret Glenn Johnson. She became a high school teacher down in Albemarle. Nanny Ray Houston Potts, Nanny Potts, when I was principal at South Iredale in another lifetime. She was a teacher down there. She was a delightful lady. She ended up becoming mayor of Cornelius, and she has a street named after her.
Is that right?
Nanny Potts Way in Cornelius.
I did not know that.
She was a great person. All of them are deceased. Shirley Ray Moten, the only Statesville native in the group of four, she's still with us, and we're hoping she will be there Thursday. But they were true heroes in our town. They made a big sacrifice. They sacrificed their student teaching, possibly their careers. Fortunately, they went on and did great things. Then, about a week after that, a group of their students saw what happened. They didn't like it. A group of them came up one day and they did a protest. They were told to leave, and they did. But then on a week after that, on March 29th, a group of about 11 or 12 students came in and sat down, and they too were arrested. And they were taken to the jail. They were fingerprinted. They were charged. So one of those participants, Sandra Hunt, she told me a few weeks back that the students knew that they needed to do something. They didn't want to just sit back after their student teachers were arrested. So they had a little room outside the library, and they would go in after school, and they would sing, and they would pray, and they would try to decide what to do. And eventually they just decided they needed to do the same thing. They needed to do a sit-in protest, and they too were arrested. So a lot of heroes in this story, and they will be remembered Thursday at 11 o'clock. So please come out and join us with that celebration of our important civil rights history in Statesville.
Now, where's that plaque going to be? Is it an outside plaque, or is it at the display inside?
Yeah, it'll be outside. It will be so that if you start in Wilmington or wherever the North Carolina Civil Rights Trail starts, you'll be able to go from stop to stop. You'll be able to drive your car. You'll be able to park outside the building. You'll be able to read the marker.
Okay.
And it will be right beside the crosswalk. There's a crosswalk right in front of our building.
Yep.
It'll be right by the crosswalk so the trees don't block it.
See, is it one of those like you see? It's silver. That's on the side. It's like 100 feet from here was.
Yeah. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
But the Civil Rights Trail has their own unique color scheme. It's kind of beige and orange, so it stands out a little bit better than the black and silver that we've known over the years.
Right.
And if the North Carolina Civil Rights Trail is not already on the National Historic Civil Rights Trail, it will be soon. So eventually Statesville, North Carolina will be on the National Civil Rights Trail.
That's great.
So you'll be able to drive by here.
That's fabulous.
Hopefully that'll bring in lots of good people.
You know, that's the history of the historical collection is so cool because, you know, you can dream about things and say, boy, I'd like to do such and such. You know, build a building and you know, but you have to have like millions of dollars, you know, that you can do that. Here's a guy who's got 5 cents in his pocket. No,
maybe.
And the memory of some Mickey Mantle cards.
Yeah, that's
once
right.
upon a time.
Yeah. And it just it seems like it wasn't that long, but it's been years in the making. But boom, here's this treasure that's been made, and it's just the perseverance of basically one guy. But you have other folks. I know you have other folks that help.
Yeah. And now people that they know what's there, they're starting to bring things in, and from time to time somebody will bring something in to add to the collection. And I would encourage people to keep doing that because it's always about the hunt, the next greatest thing. We're always looking for the next greatest thing.
Well, now, how much of the collection is displayed and how much is still in the storage?
We're going to be expanding into the basement at time in the future. We still have a lot of stuff that we think people need to look at, and we're going to be expanding into the basement. Stamey has told me I could have the whole upstairs, but I tell Stamey, please, I want you to use that for somebody who has some money and who can generate some revenue.
We also want him to be generated. I was gonna say,
I know you do.
We go up there and the upstairs, the windows up there.
Oh,
it's
Great.
a super neat space.
Oh. It would be wonderful to have apartments or to have an office or something.
Yeah, sure would.
Anyway.
By the way, one of your Herms Direct cards may be worth $48.99.
what?
Oh,
From what I'm finding online,
It might be
they
time
range,
to sell.
They range between
Actually,
$1.12 to $48.99.
$1.12. I've never sold, despite what Penny says.
Yeah. Why don't you make some
Says-
money with it?
A guy offered me like $8,000 for 4 of my liquor bottles, Statesville liquor bottles.
Right.
Goldstein. And I said, no, I'm sorry. She said, there were 2 fools right there.
One wanting to buy them and the other
Yeah.
one that won't sell them.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Hill, Dr. Hill.
Steve.
Okay, see, there you go. Thank you, Mr. Pierce.
Reverend.
Oh, excuse me, Reverend Pierce.
Oh, no.
Reverend.
None of that.
I was going to say,
That'd be the most presumptuous thing.
I was fixing to ask when that happened. I was like, wait, what?
No. I'll do the online ordination thing. I'll do your weddings if you need me to do something. Yeah.
So the downtown or the Statesville Historic Collection is at, what's the exact address?
117 South Center Street, right across from the old courthouse.
Can't miss it.
Can't miss it.
And you can find Matthew somewhere stuck in some corner
He's wandering around somewhere down there.
of the event center.
300 South Center Street,
Oh, okay.
southwest corner, front and center.
Very nice. And you were at the wedding expo?
I was not this time.
Well, you did.
I say this time like I've been in the past, right?
Have you ever been?
No, I don't know why I said that.
He had his own booth. Come see me now.
But I did advertise for it, so there's that.
All right. Well, Downtown Statesville Development Corporation, DSDC online. What's the
DowntownStatesville.com. Look us up on Instagram. And look, we're the first thing that's going to pop when you look at Downtown Statesville, not
Yeah.
your Instagram or Facebook.
That's
Make your
right.
life easy.
and see you Thursday at 11 o'clock.
Yes, Billy. Look forward to seeing you.
Sounds good. It's 3 minutes till 10 o'clock.